everyone, and welcome to the Culture Cast. I'm Chris Stashew, and I am joined by my good friend, everyone's favorite movie critic YouTuber, Mr. Mike Wallace.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, we're gonna rhyme this whole podcast because
we should. Didn't you think it was weird every time he didn't rhyme?
Yeah, every other line was it's like every other line he didn't rhyme.
Yes. I should have prepared better for this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. And on this Culture Cast, we are continuing Blaxploitation Month with a look at Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law, a film so stupid it had to rhyme.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law.
Rudy Ray Moore is Petey Wheatstraw, starring Leroy and Skillet, Jimmy Funky Clamp Lynch, and Wild Man Steve.
One bite does it.
I have a proposition to offer you, Petey. Are you willing to listen?
But what do you want from me now?
A son.
You got to be sick.
Don't give me that supernatural shit.
That Dolomite Man, Rudy Ray Moore, is back funnier than ever in the new movie, Petey Wheatstraw.
Just tell your boss I'm still alive and I'm mad as a hornet in a bumblebee eye. Tell your boss that his days is numbered and his luck is bad. Always like women with big eggs. Don't brother me no business, born back to son of a bitch.
Petey Wheatstraw, rated R.
What can I tell you, Chris? This is obviously I kind of programmed this month, and
Not kind of, you did.
Okay, I programmed this month.
Credit where credit's due.
I am going to take full credit and say that occasionally, even the best of us make mistakes.
Well, so here's the thing. So the film is directed by Cliff Roquemore, and it's essentially Rudy Ray Moore, the movie. And mind you, I hadn't seen any other Rudy Ray Moore films up until this point. I haven't seen Dolomite. I haven't seen Human Tornado. I haven't seen Disco Godfather or The Monkey Hustle.
Hustle.
Yeah, so this is my first exposure to the man, the myth, the legend, in his mind, Rudy Ray Moore.
Yes.
And Jesus Christ, this movie is fucking bananas.
Okay, so we can at least agree with that.
Almost in an unintelligible way.
Yes. It at times feels like you're on a very low-grade acid trip.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's not great.
It's bad. It's just
yeah.
bad.
Is it bad? Is it? Yeah. Okay. It is.
The
but
thing, right? Is like it's not even charming in its terribleness. It's just like Rudy. I think, and here's the thing, and we talked about this on the last Culture Cast when we talked about Cotton Comes to Harlem. Rudy Ray Moore is a polarizing figure. Either you like him or you don't.
Correct.
And I don't dislike him. I think he's pretty funny. I think his delivery of lines is so fucking bizarre. You motherfucker! Like, the way he says lines is so, I don't know, it's so matter-of-fact in the best way that I really love Rudy Ray Moore.
Yeah.
But, it's really bad.
Oh, no, it's not that bad.
It's bad in a way, like, it's shit in that the last 30 minutes of this movie feel unnecessary. So unnecessary.
No, that's the best part of the movie.
Well, I don't know about that. When he's fighting demons on the rooftop against a guy who looks like Satan.
Okay, you know. All right, listen, man. I will agree that this is a bad movie, and it's my fault. Okay, but however, I like that rooftop fight. In fact, while I was watching the movie again, okay, there are many mistakes made in this film, plot-wise.
I'm glad we can admit that. Let's come to an agreement together.
Yes, we're 100% on board with that one. However, the mistakes are made in the revenge portion of the movie, like him sort of getting back at those who have wronged him. I think all the demonic stuff in this movie, I'm going to say this, I believe it's solid. I really like it.
Dear God.
Okay. All right.
See, I'm the other way around.
What's the plot of the movie, man?
I'm the other way around. So the plot of the movie is Petey Wheatstraw is a comedian who is born as a half-formed child.
Oh, yeah. Half-formed? He's like a 10-year-old kid.
Right. Yeah, excuse me. Half-formed adult. So he's like a 10-year-old.
Right.
He learns kung fu from an Oriental man at a young age, and then
That's correct.
becomes a comedian, a stand-up comedian.
Now, you got to admit, what you're describing sounds awesome.
Right. It sounds awesome. And then, fast forwarding, he gets killed by rival club owners who don't want him to open his show the same time as them because they'll lose all their money and be killed by Mr. White, a white character.
Okay, and now let me double back on that one because, we talked last week when we talked Cotton Comes to Harlem, where that movie actually had black heroes and a black villain. And, a hallmark of blaxploitation movies is the white guy as the sort of the demonic force in it. And we actually get Mr. White in this movie.
Mr. White, on the nose.
Yes, this movie is very on the nose.
Mm-hmm. And so, then Petey Wheatstraw dies and goes to hell and is given the ability by the devil to come back to life to kill those who wronged him if he marries the devil's daughter, which would then make him the devil's son-in-law. And the devil's daughter, I don't even know what the hell that was supposed to be.
That
really bizarre. That's like the last shot
of genius.
Yes, stroke of genius. It's a stroke of something.
Yes. There's some stroking going on in this movie.
There is some stroke. There is some Clarence Carter going on in this movie. There is some stroking. Man, it's a film, and I stand by it. I think this film is shitty, but I think that this film is shitty in a way that it, like, revels in how bad it is. It's not this is what we talked about last week. It's not trying to be bad. It's just bad.
Correct. And that's the thing. Like, even the parts of this movie where I was watching and going like, well, that's in no way funny. Rudy Ray Moore, like, everything he does in this movie, he believes 100%. If he thinks that joke is funny, he thinks it's the funniest joke ever. This fight scene, which is poorly choreographed and shot and edited, like, he believes, like, this is Enter the Dragon.
He thinks Rudy Ray Moore clearly thought that he was God's gift to comedy. And God's gift to cinema. God's gift to everything, yeah.
I don't know, man. I wish I had 1/10 of the bravado of Rudy Ray Moore. I would have taken over some aspect of media. I wouldn't be talking about movies.
And that's the thing. I mean, to be fair, he is justified in that feeling for the most part. I mean, there are parts of this movie that are funny. There are parts of this movie where I was entertained and I laughed and I thought it was funny. But then there's essentially a lot of the one-liners that are the good part. Everything else is just kind of dumb. It's like the comedy is there. But the problem is it's very clear to me as someone who's never seen anything to do with Rudy Ray Moore before. But knowing, looking him up, the Chitlin circuit, all that, it's very clear clear to me he excels as a comedian doing stand-up more than someone trying to be a star of a film with a plot and a narrative.
Yes. It is not the best written movie of all time.
It's just understatement of the year.
I'm being very, very generous with my choice here.
You really are. You really are.
Yeah, I agree that the best comedy bits in this film are his one-liners. I think those generally land pretty well. There is okay, so the plot of the movie is the devil allows him to come back to Earth and take care of his problem, but he also gives him his cane. So Rudy Ray Moore has the devil's cane.
He has to find his cane.
Okay, he has to find it. Yes. Okay.
Well, again, another thoroughly bizarre scene in the film.
Yeah, I don't get that scene at all. But okay, but
there's a guy tied up in a grave and sure? I don't even fucking know.
It's really weird.
No, it's bizarre. That's what it is.
But the cane imbues him with effectively the power of the devil, which after he's completed his revenge portion of the film, there's a sequence where he goes around effectively granting wishes, like some sort of ghetto genie. Right? Just he's walking down the street and a guy has a car that's broken and it's fucked up and his whole family has to get out to push it and he gives him a brand new car. And there's this morbidly obese woman who can't fit into a chair, and then he waves the wand at her, but the cane, and she becomes super thin and excited.
Or how about when he turns a man into a dog?
Yes. Aren't the effects stunning? I mean,
yes,
they're way ahead of their time, man.
Oh my God,
they totally stand up.
Gave Jurassic Park a run for its money.
Okay, but that whole scene is great, man. I will go toe to toe. That scene is great. Up until even the last shot of him just sort of standing and money is raining while he's standing on some bizarre Los Angeles street, and he's jumping up and down in joy. I love that whole scene. And there's a scene that follows where the devil has he's I get to marry off my daughter and they're going to produce a son, which effectively would be the Antichrist and everything, where he's jogging and he's waving to people. Dude.
They do that scene again at the end of the film.
Right. But the scene of him, the initial scene, I was laughing out loud during that whole scene. Just the idea of the devil in a red jogging suit, just running down the middle of the street, waving to passersby. He's so excited. I loved that. The guy playing the devil is really good.
And again, it's the issue with the film isn't the comedy, intentional or unintentional. It's the fact that this film tries to have a plot.
Yeah.
A plot that at some points it's somewhat serious.
Yeah, well,
let's
talk where the child gets shot.
A child gets shot 10 minutes into the film.
It's so out of left field. Everything has been sort of super broad, kind of wacky comedy, and then suddenly a child gets gunned down. And you're what the fuck? And this isn't. I mean, look, John Carpenter did that really well in Assault on Precinct 13, where a little girl's getting an ice cream and suddenly gets gunned down by a gang. And you're what? Whoa, where did this come from? Made the whole. It really turned the movie on its head and sent it in a whole other direction. This doesn't send the movie in a whole other direction with that. It's just one fucking, oh my God, what are they doing? Moment in this movie. And
again, that's my issue with this film is not the comedy. It's these bizarre scenes that are trying to play this film straight.
Yeah, I mean that scene is supposed to make us feel bad, I assume.
Right. And then there's the scene where Petey Wheatstraw and the rest of his friends get mowed down in front of the child's funeral.
Yeah.
It's what the fuck is this movie doing? It's at one point it's trying to be hilarious. And it is funny. And then at other points, it's just trying to be this serious film, sort of. And I don't get it.
Okay. Do I dare compare this movie? No, I will not.
Do it. Come on.
To the works of Tyler Perry.
Oh, dear God.
I know, right? In that, it is pitched to a particular audience. I think, you know what? I am going to compare the two because, look, I think Tyler Perry's movies are garbage. I just can't. But at the same time, they're not for me.
Halloween Medea is not good.
Jeez, no. But I also recognize that they're not for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, and
And-
again, I completely concede that point.
So, if you fucking liked anything that I don't like, if you enjoy it, more power to you. Isn't that the wonderful thing about art? It's all fucking subjective in the end.
That's right. Agreed there.
So, but I think in a way, Rudy Ray Moore is like more honest than Tyler Perry, because even though there are these sort of whacked out moments where they're trying to like tug at your heartstrings or, suddenly get serious or suddenly go this way or that way, I don't know. It just seems like it's like it does. At the end of the day, it isn't taking itself seriously from beginning to end. And I think like the works of Tyler Perry, I think he thinks those movies are important, even though they sort of traffic in this sort of minstrel show of the guy in the fat black woman costume that he's still doing somehow in 2018. Does that make sense? Do I sound like a total racist right now?
No, you don't.
Okay. But then again, I'm asking another white guy, so...
Mike, I couldn't tell you. Are you a racist?
Mike, you're kind of on your own now.
But I mean, no, realistically, this realistically, this film is not for us.
Right.
At the end of the day, no matter how much Quentin Tarantino rips off blaxploitation films and makes them his own and tries to assimilate himself into black culture, which he has tried so many times and failed so many times, blaxploitation films, just title alone, are not for us.
Right.
But,
I mean, we can still appreciate them.
Right. I'll say, but at the same time, we can remove the black cultural aspect from the film to some extent to try to appreciate it on our own.
Right, exactly. So,
And-
like, a movie like Cotton Comes to Harlem is just a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
I never need to have lived in New York City in that sort of demographic and that sort of, monetary bracket and whatever to enjoy what they were giving us. And on that level, yeah, this is not a great movie. It's not very good.
It's a silly movie. It's very silly.
I still enjoy it. I mean, I'm probably going to wait another 10 years before I reevaluate it again. But I will say this, I will reevaluate it again. Like, there's enough in this movie to make me want to do that. Whereas if it were just truly garbage, I'd be like, yeah, that was enough. Nope. Don't need to even think about it again.
Well, it's nice to know that this is finally, I've seen now where Dave Chappelle ripped off a lot of his stuff from. Like his, Players Ball?
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy's character looks just like Rudy Ray Moore in this film.
Certainly does.
In the revenge scene.
Right.
Down to the absurd red cowboy hat. Right?
Absolutely.
So it's a movie that I think it's just, this is what I was expecting when we were talking about blaxploitation, but I think even this film goes too far in the kind of goofiness of it.
Yeah.
It's not grounded in anything. It's just, I mean, there's a part where an out of shape black man, aka Rudy Ray Moore, is fighting black imps dancing around with their capes. It sounds and that's the thing, that sounds hilarious, right? But I don't think it's as good. I don't think it is an execution as funny as it is when we're talking about it.
No, and I do think, like in this case, it just needed a better filmmaker. If you look at these guys' credits, he basically just directed 3 Rudy Ray Moore movies, and that's it. And I don't know what his relationship was sort of with him outside of it, that he got the cachet other than Rudy Ray Moore's involvement. And he said, I want this guy to do it. Knowing that, he would basically do what he was told. But had literally any other filmmaker in Hollywood made the movie, it could have brought it up to a better level.
Yeah.
Because as we're saying, the premises themselves are not bad.
The premise is hilarious.
I mean, every time I describe a scene in the movie, I'm like, God, that sounds really good. But while you're watching, you're just like, yeah, this is really poorly executed.
Well, and let's be honest here, some of this may also be attributed to the fact that this movie is extremely hard to find. If you want, I mean, you can buy it off Amazon, and it is a 2K scan of the film, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to pay money to watch this movie. And I don't think anyone else should have to shell out $20 to watch it either.
I'm not, I mean, I own this movie on DVD, and I believe, I think Warner Archive or Filmstruck is now re-releasing it. So it'll be...
Vinegar Syndrome released it 2 years ago.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so, I mean, it is available if you want to grab it. If you want to just borrow my copy to anyone listening, I'll let you borrow it.
I'll mail it to you.
Yeah, I'll put a CZ in there. You can just send it back to me. Yeah, I wouldn't. Like Cotton Comes to Harlem. Yeah, go buy that movie. You should own that. This one, like, let me just give it to you. You can watch it and then send it back.
And again, I think a lot of this comes back to Rudy Ray Moore and who he is.
Yeah.
So on that note, let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk more about Mr. Ray Moore. Who is Carl Kolchak?
He's a reporter.
Now that is news, Vincenzo. News! And we are a newspaper. We are supposed to print news, not suppress it.
With the INS.
What's an INS?
Independent news service, sir, founded in 1904 by Enrico Paluzzi.
Who seems to have a nose for the strange and unusual.
Well, last year in Las Vegas, I uncovered a series of murders that turned out to have been committed by a vampire.
And what is the Kolchak Tapes?
It's a podcast.
All about Carl Kolchak.
What's a Kolchak?
The Night Stalker.
And where can you get it?
On iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at www.kolchaktapes.com.
As foolish a game as any that Gory the Ghoul could make up.
Socks don't have to come in just black and white, and at Jilly's Socks and Such, you can find not only that unique pair of sassy socks, but also gifts for any occasion. Started by former teacher Lori and former student, now namesake Jillian, their store has a pair of socks for every event, personality, and interest. Be it a snarky pair for work, a pair emblazoned with your favorite sports team, or just something silly for lounging, Jilly's Socks and Such can have you sliding into your new favorite pair of socks today. I just recently picked up a pair of Bigfoot socks that are about as badass as they are comfy, and they are a perfect addition to my growing collection of socks. They are located at 3900 Old Cheney Road, Suite 202, Lincoln, Nebraska, and online at jillysocks.com. Mention the Culture Cast and get 15% off your next purchase at Jilly's, and remember, let your socks do the talking at Jilly's Socks and Such.
Here's what some people are saying about the Projection Booth podcast.
Week after week, I'm mesmerized by the focus given great films and questionable films alike. But every episode is a learning and entertaining experience.
This is hands down the best movie podcast. They cover so many different genres across so many years, from obscure movies to blockbusters.
If there's only one podcast about movies and cinema that you listen to, make it this one.
The Projection Booth podcast, with new episodes available every week at projectionboothpodcast.com.
All right, we are back, and we are talking about Petey Wheatstraw. So I haven't seen the other Rudy Ray Moore films, but I'm assuming they're all similar in that Rudy Ray Moore is the big swinging dick character of the film in all of them. He's clearly like an out of shape comedian, but he doesn't get that he's an out of shape comedian, and that's the point.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if that he was in on that part of the joke. I think he really thinks that he is the baddest ass on the block, and he could beat up everybody. And does that make it funnier for us? Yeah, I don't know if he, like I said, I don't know that he was thinking that was the funny. I think he thought, and then I'm going to kick some ass, and everyone will cheer because I'm going to be kicking ass. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not like a Jack Burton, Big Trouble in Little China, where he's the hero but he's completely inept. It's not that sort of reversal. It's kind of the reverse of that reversal, where this guy would have his ass handed to him over and over again. Yeah, I mean, Human Tornado and Dolomite, they're effectively the same. This one just has the devil involved. And by the way, the depiction of hell here is genius. The
soundstage they were on was very dark, and those red lights were very bright.
Hey man, that's hell, right? And what's weird is there's kind of a prologue to this movie where he sort of lays out who he is and what he does, and he's quoting a song by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. He's actually just straight up quoting it without crediting him at all. All the lines at the beginning of that are from that, and that's from a song called "Little Demon" by Screaming Jay Hawkins. I put pretty hair on Grandma's bald head. Like those. I hadn't noticed that the first time I watched it. I noticed this time. I don't know what that's apropos of anything.
Let it not be said, Rudy Ray Moore was not a comedian and a shameless plagiarizer, I guess, as it were. So speaking of shameless plagiarizers, so I'm curious because you had talked about this.
Yeah.
What did Quentin Tarantino rip off from this?
In Inglourious Bastards, the idea of like trapping people in Inglourious Bastards, it's a movie theater, and she burns it down while her laughing head appears on the movie screen. Here, it's their nightclub where he's using the cane to wreak havoc, and then the devil's head appears like laughing over the entire sort of chaotic scene. If Tarantino did not steal that outright, he did. That's it. That's
Speaking of shameless plagiarizers, Quentin Tarantino is the shameless plagiarizer of shameless plagiarizers when it comes to film.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, they didn't have a budget to burn the place down and have everyone machine gunned or whatever. I don't know, but that's. I think you can draw a direct line from those from one movie to the other here.
And I would much rather watch this film than Inglourious Bastards.
I don't know. I kind of like Inglourious Bastards.
It's 1 hour too long.
Oh yeah, it's way too long. Way too long. That movie, if it had been lean and an hour and a half, that would have been a great movie.
All the other? You mean like the early Tarantino films before he got overly indulgent and decided to just start making 3-hour movies, and the studios said, "Sure, why not?" Because you're Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. It's like reading early Stephen King, where the book is maybe 200 pages, and then you're like, why is this 1,700 pages, this thing? Like, wow, what am I doing?
Because the scary clown in the sewer. Scary clown!
Yeah, could somebody say no to him? I don't know.
Could he say no to cocaine?
No. Stephen King, no.
No, God, no. I can't say no to this sweet, sweet line of cocaine. At least that's that this film does have a positive. This film is like 1 hour and 30 minutes long. It does drag towards the end. It feels like the stuff with the devil and marrying his daughter is kind of tacked on. Because there's 2 or 3 scenes where I was like, the movie could have just ended now.
Sure. Yeah, there's an entire subplot where he's trying to pass off a wino as him.
And he totally does.
He does, but then it doesn't pay off because the wino somehow wakes up and pulls the mask off and runs away. I don't know. Look, the movie feels longer than 1 hour and a half. I'll say that.
Yeah, it really does.
But I like all the demon stuff kind of more than the human stuff, and I think you feel exactly the opposite.
I like the human stuff because, again, I felt like there was a satisfying conclusion to it. Leroy and Skillet get their comeuppance in the end.
Yeah, Leroy and Skillet. You know, those 2 actors also appeared on Sanford and Son, playing characters named Leroy and Skillet.
I just assumed that those were their characters, like Jay and Silent Bob. They're just in stuff as Leroy and Skillet.
Yeah, I think so. What a weird movie, man.
It is a weird movie.
Who suggested this?
Don't take his suggestions anymore.
Yeah, do not let this human being program the podcast anymore.
And that's the thing, of all the Rudy Ray Moore films, this is the least talked about one.
Yeah.
Human Tornado, Dolomite, those are well known.
Absolutely, Dolomite in particular is looked upon as kind of a classic of the blaxploitation genre. Yeah, this one's an odd one. I like it ultimately, but I wouldn't look if I was getting stoned and I put it on, I think I would enjoy it a lot more than I did watching it at 10 a.m. straight.
Oh, I'm with I am with you 100%. If I were just got done smoking some and was sitting, I was like, oh, let's put something on that's going to be kind of just background noise, but I can pay attention to if I really want to. This, I think, benefits from being in a altered state.
Altered state, yes. And you know what? Maybe Rudy Ray Moore was thinking about that when he was making the movie as well.
I think Rudy Ray Moore probably was high.
Yeah, I think pretty much the entire cast and crew might have been in this case. Yeah. Except for the guy playing the devil, because he was real serious.
Lou Cypher.
Cipher, yes.
Lou
Yes,
Cipher.
does that joke ever get old? They recycled that in Angel Heart, the Robert De Niro film. Remember that?
I've never seen it, so.
Oh my God! Okay, Alan Parker.
All I know is that it works in this movie. I honestly expected the devil to be a white man,
right?
Or I expected the joke to be when he shows Petey Wheatstraw a picture of his daughter that she's going to be a white woman. Like that's what I was expecting.
Right, but at the same time, like the devil gives him a bachelor party with like like a dozen sort of demonic babes, and they had a white girl in there.
Yeah, demonic concubines.
Yes.
With hilarious,
it was actually a bit jarring to see the white girl in there. It was kind of like when if you'd watch like Soul Train, like suddenly like a white girl would be on, like you're like, wait, what's she doing there?
Yeah, it's just such a. Again, I haven't seen Dolomite, I haven't seen Human Tornado, but I'm assuming those movies are better than this.
They are, and at the same time, they're kind of pitched at the same level, where the violence can be out of left field shocking, and the humor is not far afield from this film's level of humor. I mean, there's a scene in this movie where some thieves make off with pieces of his car, like a tire and the back seat and such, where it goes into like a Benny Hill like fast motion, where they're running around in circles, and that's pretty par for the course with a Rudy Ray Moore movie.
I find it funny though that this blaxploitation film has like several uses of the N-word, where a film like Django Unchained has like 50 or 60.
Yeah. I don't know. Is he attempting to depower the word, or does he just like that he's not supposed to use it and he can?
Oh, I think it's the latter, and I think I also think he likes the way Samuel L. Jackson says it.
Well, who doesn't? But at the same time, yeah.
Me personally, because I'm not a huge fan of Samuel L. Jackson. Not anymore. Okay. He's kind of just playing himself at this point. And there's only a couple actors, I think, at this point that can get away with playing themselves. One of them is Jeff Goldblum.
Right. Well, Jeff Goldblum is... yeah, he's like Cary Grant at this point. It's like you hired Cary Grant and you're basically just getting Cary Grant with a different character name.
Samuel L. Jackson, I think, for me at this point, is a little played out. It's like the jokes are kind of always the same. We get it. You're going to scream. Okay, fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that just, I don't know. That but like Jeff Goldblum, like that's his personality, so that's kind of what we expect and want and enjoy, sort of regardless. But are there any like serious actors at this point where we can watch them and know that they're still doing good work? Like isn't even De Niro just kind of doing De Niro at this point?
Yeah. So same with Pacino.
Yeah, I mean
Pacino has become just sad.
It's just a cartoon. At this point. Yeah. That was the turning point, wasn't it? That Scent of the Woman movie? Like, he was like, hey, so. It was him announcing, this is it from now on, everybody.
Well, actually, the turning point for him was when he was playing himself in the Adam Sandler magnum opus, Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I still have managed to not see that movie.
Where he is in a commercial at Dunkin' Donuts for Dunkachino.
Wow. Yep. Well.
Well, on that note,
yeah.
What would you give Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law?
Out of 5?
Yep.
Oof. I'm gonna give it a 2. Give it a 2.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2. Maybe a 2. 2.5. 2.25.
I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna just say 2. It's not. Yeah. It's not completely without merit. There is some value.
I'll give it a 2, and if I was high, I'd give it a 3.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
It's not completely worthless. There are some funny bits. Rudy Ray Moore is genuinely charming, but I think his talents are better suited for something that isn't this film.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
And he wrote this film.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this was a character he would do in his stand-up act, and I'm sure he came up with the plot, but the director was also the screenwriter in this case. Right. I don't know how much
50-50 level to blame.
yeah. There's no question. Like you
live on the sword, you die on the sword. As far as I'm
absolutely, concerned. I love that in the credits. It's credited to R.R. Moore, like as if we wouldn't notice that that's Rudy Ray Moore. Like, just go for it, man.
That's my point. That's why it's, hey, buddy, we know it's you.
Yeah, like, if you're going to throw the credit in, just go for it.
Yeah. Well, there is no Rotten Tomato score for the film for critics. However, what do you think the audience score is?
I bet it's higher than I would give it. if it's above 50%, then I'll say that sounds right to me. But I don't know. What is it?
55%.
55. There you go. Okay, that makes sense.
About 1,200 user ratings. So,
wow. Yeah. Well, at least 1,200 people have seen this movie, I guess.
Yeah, right? Good for them.
Good for them. Good for all of you out there who have watched it. And if you haven't you have purchased it based on my recommendation, then I'm sorry.
Take it out of your Amazon cart right now.
Yeah. If you're going to purchase the movie, please do not.
If you look at the original box art for the poster for the film and you think this is a film I want to watch, good on you.
Yeah, good on you. Well, and again, like, as we've said, if you're reading the description of this movie, it sounds awesome. Yeah. Like you cannot fail. They fail. So
and again, like the poster for this movie is god awful.
Yeah.
Compared to like Dolomite or The Human Tornado. Or
those are pretty good, man. I would hang those posters up. I don't know about the Petey Wheatstraw poster.
No, Petey Wheatstraw poster looks like a poster that like someone came up with, like like as a student project or something. I don't know. It looks like a straight to VHS quality film,
and it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. If you saw this on a double bill with something else, you might enjoy it a little bit more. I don't know. If you're sitting down to review the movie, you're probably not gonna like it. Anyway, that was a misstep. Shout out to Mike White. You were right, buddy.
Man, Mike, you were right. Jeez. Well, you got to be right sometimes.
Hey man,
right quite often.
So next time I recommend something, I'm going to watch it, and then I'm going to recommend it, unless I've already watched it a million times.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break, and we'll play a preview for the next Culture Cast.
She's tracked. Okay, come on.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
How many can you save?
11 species. Blue is the last of her kind.
You'll never capture her.
We thought you might know someone who could help.
A rescue op? What could go wrong? Hey, Blue. You know me. Come with me. You know you can't stay here.
Back your men up right now.
It was all a lie!
The man who proved raptors can follow orders. You never thought how many millions a trained predator might be worth?
They're gonna sell them.
Not Blue. They need it for something else.
What is that thing? They made it.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
I say we shut this whole thing down. Hey, girl. You think what I'm thinking?
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
You can't put it back in the box.
Blue! If I don't make it back, remember you're the one who made me come here. I'll be all right. These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Right, on the next Culture Cast, we're going to be talking about Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, the next Jurassic Park movie.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Those don't ever get old.
I was going to say, that's kind of all they're selling the movie on at this point.
Yeah. Are you excited to see it?
I was, until I had a friend who's actually been overseas for the last 3 weeks, and he saw it already.
Oh, okay.
He said that it was pretty bad.
It looks remarkably bad to me.
No, it's just, I don't know. I think at this point, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a huge fan of Chris Pratt. I think Chris Pratt is.
I'm there with you. Having said that, like, I really enjoyed him on Parks and Rec. I think he's good as Star-Lord. But anytime he sort of stretches beyond that, I just find him sort of insufferable.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people in Hollywood that are like that are insufferable in a lot of stuff that they do. But they're good in like one or two roles.
Yeah, you know what? And if he's in that role, that's right on. Then, like, I want to see more of it. But, what that Magnificent Seven remake, he was just, I don't know. I mean, that wasn't a great movie, but he was miscast in that flick.
Or that movie with Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh yeah, right. That Passengers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Everyone was super psyched for, and then it came out and it was shit.
That was garbage. I hated that movie, man. Yeah. But
it was touted as Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt in a movie together. How could it go wrong?
Yeah, how could it? Well,
how could it not go wrong? Apparently.
Oh my God, those two for fucking a full 2 hours. Like, okay,
great.
Yeah, I like her. I should say that I do like her, but that is not a good movie.
See, I don't like Jennifer Lawrence. So
really, she can be good, man.
She comes off as just kind of I don't know. She's that chick that's just, she knows she's cool, and people won't look past that kind of thin veneer that she puts up. Does that make sense?
Totally,
that, like,
yeah. No, I get that.
She's putting up a front, and I don't know. I just don't
Not
like
a fan
it.
of that front.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. In the pantheon of people who think they're awesome and are not, like, she ranks a little lower than somebody like Anne Hathaway to me, though.
I think Anne Hathaway, I think she just gets a bad rap.
You think so? I cannot stand her.
What about, like, Christian Bale?
Again, that's another guy, like...
I'm a serious actor. I am an actor.
I don't... He's good in Empire of the Sun.
To quote Christian Bale, the fuck are you doing? Get out of the fucking shot, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
Dude, you were in a Terminator movie. Chill. Just chill.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Know what you're making here, brother.
Yeah. Back me up on this one, Mick G. That's a phrase widely used among my friends. Back me up on this one, Mick G. You are in a Mick G movie, Christian Bale. Chill out. A Terminator movie, a Terminator prequel that is just as forgotten as the other Terminator sequel, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Salvation.
They're all bad, right?
Terminator Salvation, that is Terminator Salvation. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, a.k.a. Women's Lib Terminator.
Wow, they've all been really bad. I like that first one a lot. It's good.
Well, the first one's a horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
And then the second one is Aliens to the Terminator's to the Terminator's Alien.
Yeah. Isn't it? Well, even more than that, it is just kind of just a straight action remake of the first film, right? I mean, the beats are almost exactly the same.
Pretty much. It's like Evil Dead 2 to Evil Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Desperado to El Mariachi.
Yes. Oof. Boy, we're picking them.
But boy, yeah. Better than Desperado, though.
Better than Desperado, totally.
I mean,
we have to stop meeting like this, Chris. Desperado, fucking Petey Wheatstraw.
Here's the thing, though. I always ask a lot of my friends and fellow critics that I know to come do this, and they're always like, I don't want to do movies I don't know or that I've never seen before. And it's like, the fuck? Come out of your comfort zone a little bit. Let's talk about something that's bad. Let's talk about something that nobody talks. And nobody's talking about Petey Wheatstraw in 2018. Nobody's talking about Desperado in 2018.
That is true.
Nobody's talking about Cotton Comes to Harlem in 2018, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. I know I got lucky on that one. But I feel a certain amount of guilt for programming this movie. I didn't mean to waste an hour and a half of your time. I don't know. You're right. This is, this is worth seeing. It's like, there are far worse movies to spend your time with than watching Rudy Ray Moore for an hour and a half.
Talking about slapping men with women's titties. Come on.
There you go.
Charming about that.
There's some good stuff in this movie.
You gotta watch Petey Wheatstraw or spend 3 hours watching Transformers
6 or 8 or the new Bumblebee movie.
But it looks so good. They got it right.
That's
what the internet says.
Yeah, for sure. The internet's always right.
Yeah, it's true. That group think that always comes to the right answer. Whew.
Well, the teenagers seem to like it. They're always on the ball.
Where were you for the Solo podcast since you like that movie so much?
I love that movie.
Ooh.
Oh. I do not care what you say. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Hey,
I really did.
I'm in the majority here. No one went and saw that fucking movie.
That is true. You know what? That means absolutely nothing to me. There have been some really good movies that nobody went to see.
That's true. But the problem is nobody went and saw a Star Wars. That is
yes. Look, right, and I get that, but is that because this movie is bad, or is it because we've had way too many of them in such a short amount of time?
I think
it used to be an event.
You don't think it's a mix of both?
No, because I like this movie a lot.
But I think the movie was abandoned by the studio. I mean, they released a trailer for it 3 months before it came out.
Yeah, that was not a good idea. Chris, honestly, I saw this movie twice. I saw Solo twice. I went and saw it again. I did. I liked it. I dug it, man.
I guess somebody had to go see it twice.
That was my job. I had to do it.
Right. Oh, man. I haven't seen a movie twice in theaters in a long time.
Yeah, it's rare these days that I do it. Trying to think the last one I went to, I saw it twice. It's been a long time. I mean, I haven't even, I told myself I'd go see Infinity War again just because there's so much going on. But I have not yet ventured out to do that again.
You only have another month until it's out of theater.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'll be able to see it again. Yeah. Remember there used to be a lag time with movies? Like it would go away and you'd be like chomping at the bit to get it on video. And like now it's just
I'm pretty sure it's still in theaters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's like Jumanji, right?
Yeah, that movie was still in theaters, and I was like walking through a store, and it was on the shelf. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is still out.
Yeah, it totally was. It was on DVD here. Like you could buy it at Best Buy here, and it was still at the one of the main movie theaters in town. Not like the second run. It was like one of the main ones.
Yeah, the main. Oh, it's just we live in a weird time, man. Yeah, I don't know.
The Rock, dude, he's gonna be dieharding it up soon, so get ready.
Oh, doesn't that look awesome? Ugh.
Dear God in heaven. We have officially come full circle. We've run out of ideas when we're just remaking a movie with another name.
Yeah. Oh, but no, it's a super high rise, and he doesn't have a leg. Perfect.
Oh, great.
Greenlit.
No. I mean, all they had to do is say, we're casting The Rock in this film, and it's, okay, we got it.
Yeah,
giving you the money for it.
Yeah. It's the pitch meeting. The Rock, done.
Yeah. How can we make $500, $600 million on a movie in the opening weekend? Cast The Rock, of course. Oh, jeez. Well, what have you been up to, Mike, since last time we spoke last week?
That was last week, man. Nothing. I've been up to nothing. Have I been up to nothing? I've been, I'm still, front and center over there at the Haunted Museum here in Las Vegas. We have the naked Trump statue.
The what?
Remember during the election, there was this art collective known as In Decline. They put these naked Donald Trump statues around the United States, like a bunch of different cities. Remember this?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they made 5 of them, and like 4 of them got destroyed, and Zach bought the final one. We have it on display now.
The one with the dick?
Yeah, dude.
Why?
Living part of history, I guess. It's certainly
haunted.
It haunts me.
Right. Okay. It haunts you, haunts me.
I don't want to spend too much time in the room with it, so it is kind of frightening in that way. You know what's funny? Maybe I shouldn't be telling this, but I've had people I'm a tour guide there, so I got to bring in a group of people and we show it to them and stuff. And I'll have clearly an older Republican crowd sometimes, and they'll like straight up to my face say like, that is inappropriate and in bad taste. And then several rooms later, I will be discussing some serial rapist, and they're in rapt attention, and they don't have a problem with it, which I find hilarious.
Makes sense to me.
Right? Like, oh, this is the device he used to rape 6 men? Like, that's awesome. Like, can I touch it? Like, yeah, okay, but the fucking naked Donald Trump was in poor taste. Okay, sounds good.
It's because he has a small pee-pee, that's why.
Yep, they didn't want to see that.
the pee-pee so small. The small pee-pee offended them.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, my God. Well, that's a really random thing to have at the Haunted Museum.
It is, but it is not just haunted things. We have oddities and curiosities of all stripe and variety. So I've been doing that, working on a new video and gearing up to get my podcast going. You've never seen, coming soon. Yeah, that's it. How have you been?
So a new podcast with
yes,
the title.
sir. Yes, you've never seen.
Oh, my Lord.
where we will not be discussing Petey Wheatstraw. Because I do not want to waste my listeners' time.
What about Weedy Pete Straw?
That I'm looking forward to.
So what you're implying is that we are wasting my listeners' time here, sir. Son of a bitch.
Hey, everyone, don't listen to this podcast anymore.
I will have
now you know my actual plan. It's depth charges.
I will have none of this self-promotion on my podcast. Thank you very much. Oh, Jesus. What have I been up to? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Been working, watching movies, watching movies. That's rinse and repeat every day.
It's a life.
It is a life. It is a life. It is my life. There you go. But as always, you can head on over to cultureshock.com where you can find out more about today's episode. You'll find links over to iTunes where you can rate and review the show, and to Patreon where you can kick a couple dollars our way. You can also follow me on Twitter at CultureStash. You can follow Mike on Twitter at his new Twitter handle.
You've never seen.
Look at that. There, he's setting it up already. The empire begins. And you
That's
can
it, man.
Yeah. And you can follow Culture Shocked on Twitter at Culture Shocked. In the episode description are links over to iTunes where you can rate and review the show. It helps us out and helps other people find the podcast. And over to Patreon where you can kick a couple dollars our way. Donors get access to unreleased episodes, DVDs, and the chance to guest co-host a CultureCast. Big thanks, as always, to Avoca for the intro music, and my good buddy Justin Scott for the outro music, and to Mike for, I guess, programming this month to some extent.
You're welcome.
And
I'll be back again next month.
And make sure to check out the next CultureCast.
Posted with the crew. You know how we do, I'm just two-step, drink in my right hand, phone in my other hand, getting to the money, oh man, two-step, posted with the crew, yeah, you know how we do.
Hey, two-stepping, know what I'm saying, 1, 2, 1, 2, Benjamin, aka the Black T, you know what I'm saying, catch me with my crew, every